start to put tension on my string drawback, I was like, okay, I'm gonna smoke.
It's him. You can look at the horns when he's dead. I'm in the zone. Let the arrow go is perfect.
When they lose their front shoulders, yeah, that's how you know they're smoking.
Went about 5-10 more yards. He probably went 20 yards total. Kept them, we tried getting back up. I saw him pull up.
We rushed 14 rods that night. We got like 156 and something like that, and then the next day we came up to 163 even.
You're listening to the White Cat Outdoors podcast, bringing you to the table where we talk about the outdoors.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What you said, 125. I remember.
Big time.
Yep, I got it. 125.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I remembered. So last week we talked about Nick killing a turkey.
Yeah, huge turkey. I remember.
Yeah, we were all very excited about that, but we haven't had any more luck with the turkeys.
No.
I haven't had any time to get out in the woods, and
Did I confirm last week that I was getting it mounted?
yeah, you did. Yeah,
We
we
did?
talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. That'll be sharp.
I am too.
Yeah.
Like you said, no more turkeys have been killed. It's been tough. I don't know. I haven't been doing a ton of hunting because my tag's filled in PA. And,
Have you been in New York at all?
I think
you
I've
guys
hunted.
went to New York
I think
once,
I've hunted New York once since that bird. But I guess Tom's been doing a lot more hunting recently. So
You've been going like every morning.
Yeah,
haven't you?
just about every morning.
yeah. So I want to turn.
Must be nice waiting until 9 o'clock to go to work.
8, but yeah. Well, turkey opens up all day on Monday, so you should have no more excuses.
I work after work every day.
You don't have to. It's just like a hobby job.
Yeah, but I could use the money. We were talking about the housing market before we started, Tom, and I need the money.
Just buy a Powerball ticket. Well, your problem
Problem
will be solved.
solved.
You can hunt whenever you want.
That'd be nice, huh?
That's my plan.
Yeah.
Just put all of our money in a pile. Buy a
Powerball.
Yeah.
I dig it.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah.
High risk, no reward. Sometimes
You had a 50-50 shot.
that's true.
Yeah, you either win or you don't.
So Tom, you've been out in the woods a lot. What's been going on?
He secretly won the Powerball. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
He
I
just
wish.
didn't tell us.
So, had a good hunt Sunday, the New York opener. And I'm all amped up. I'm like, okay, know where these birds are roosting. They didn't come out to the field, so they're probably going down to the hillside, working their strut zone for a little while. So I said Monday morning, taking a half day, and I'm gonna get after these birds up there in New York. So I wake up bright and early. Actually, it's still dark, 4 o'clock. If you wake up bright and early for turkey hunt, you're too
way
late for the
late.
game. So dark and early, about 4 o'clock. Get up to the property about 5:15-ish. Get all set up, ready to roll by 5:30. And don't you know it, birds start gobbling, and I'm like right in the money. I got my single hen decoy out about 20 yards in front of me.
You were down in the woods?
Yeah, down at the bottom of the hill. They were roosted directly above me.
Were you like where you and I were that one time?
No. Well, no, not really. A couple hundred yards away from there.
Okay.
So birds start gobbling. I'm like, yeah, this is going to happen. They're going to fly down. I'm going to make a few hen yelps, some clucks. They're going to meander over. They're going to see my decoy, come right in, and I'm going to smoke one. It's going to be awesome. So I'm listening to these birds gobble their faces off on the roost, and I'm getting pumped.
How much calling are you doing?
0, none, not a call. They're just naturally
Doing their own thing.
sounding off. And they fly down. I watch them fly down. I'm that close to them.
Oh, wow.
So I watch them fly down and just ever so softly give a few clucks and some yelps and hammer back. I'm like, oh, yeah.
They're in business.
They know I'm over here.
At this point, it's probably 100% chance you're going to shoot one.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. And then they start working right to me. And
How far are they? Can you still see them once they hit the ground?
oh, yeah, I seen them the whole time. Yeah,
Oh,
they were
man.
probably 150, 200 yards away.
Oh man.
But I mean, yeah, up
the hill.
Up the hill. So they're working their way down to me, and I don't know exactly how many there were, but they were at least 8 gobblers and 5 hens.
We got more than 4.
Yeah, at least 8 gobblers, 5 hens, mixture of Longbeards and Jakes.
Damn.
And the 2 that I wanted, 2 Longbeards, come working right down side by side, and they
Leading
get
the
into
pack.
like 60 yards. I'm like, oh, here we go. And normally, if I'm in an open field, I probably would have shot at 60 yards. With these new shells I'm using, it'd be no problem. I'm putting over 200 BBs in the head at 40.
Bound to get a few at 60.
Yeah. So it's a little thick. I'm like, yeah, they're coming. They're coming.
Smart choice.
Yeah. Just going to let them come in. And behind them comes the rest of the flock. And they're not interested in my decoy. And they kind of come down and start working away from me. And don't you know it, those birds start following the flock. They're no longer interested in my hen decoy.
Rascals.
So I start calling, getting a little aggressive, some cuts and whatnot, and they come right back to where they were. Now and they go into full strut, and they're just
They're
gobbling.
waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm like, man, just come a little bit closer. I had a tree picked out. I said, when you get past that tree,
Done.
you're smoked. And that tree was about 40 yards. So they just had like 20 yards more to close. And I mean, I'm talking 10, 11-inch rope, big old gobblers, just not
Ready to
wanting to
die.
cooperate. Yeah, and I can't get them to come in. They act like they want to, and then they go with the real turkeys. And then I call them back, and then they just go back. And I'm like, this isn't working. And finally, they come in and leave one more time. I try to call them back, and they're not having it.
They had enough.
Yeah, they're like, we're over here, can see you, you can see us. If you want to come with the flock, and come on over. But what they didn't know is that turkey couldn't see him because it was decoy. It was never going to follow him. They didn't fall for the trick. So they walk.
You think having a gobbler decoy?
Yes,
would have made a
I
difference?
think if I would have had a gobbler decoy, it would have been total game changer. So I've been carrying the old strutting Tom with me ever since.
I was thinking about this when you were telling the story. You talk about people like overcalling and stuff, and I'm not saying you did anything wrong. It was just a thought that came to my mind. Like, do you think that when they're like coming and going like that, and they're like, all right, like this shit's getting old, like let's go, or we're leaving, do you think that affects them like next time if they were in a similar scenario? Like they're gonna see that, hear the calling, be like, wow, we've been through this before, she's not coming, and just leave?
Not at all. Turkeys call to each other all day long.
Yeah.
And their memory is so short.
Yeah.
I think like the whole like overcalling and undercalling and stuff, I feel like it's almost subjective to each turkey because
Yeah.
Tom and I and Tom and I are both together. We were hunting up at the farm, and we heard a bird gobbling, a couple birds gobbling. Tom let out like the softest couple yelps, and this hen that was up in the tree with them gobblers got so pissed off and, without exaggeration, did not shut up calling for 15 minutes straight.
Yeah.
I mean, just cackling and yelping. I mean, just absolutely insane. So that bird, you would say, did some overcalling, if you will.
Yeah, and Tom and I had that happen. We got intercepted by a hen, and he was arguing back and forth with the hen, and she was getting all pissed off. So
I think had I shot and missed, or they
Then-
saw me moving, then they might have put the correlation together. But I don't think that screws them up at all, just by calling to them, because that's a natural thing that they do all the time. So I watch these birds, and they look like they're hugging the bottom of the hillside, and they're going straight towards this hidden field that we have. We call it the foundation. And it looked like they were heading right towards the foundation. So I let them get out of eyesight, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sit here for 20 minutes or so, let them get comfortable over there. Then I'm going to make a loop down low, make a new setup, make it sound like this hen moved. Try and, get one to break away from the flock. So I'm imagining them up in the foundation. I make a loop, which is about 200 yards below the foundation. I'm like, I'm not even going to get close to these birds. I'm just going to hunker in here, wait for them to, break up, and I'll call one in down here. Well, turns out where I made my loop trying to avoid the birds is actually where the birds ended up. So they weren't even close to where I thought they were. So I come meandering through the woods, and
It was for sure the same group of birds.
I'm pretty sure, because I don't know where the other flock would have came from.
Yeah.
So I'm just slowly walking through the woods, and I walk right into this flock of birds. I see them like 80 yards away, pick their head up, and they take off running across the road. Now I'm like, son of a bitch. That kind of boogers up my hunt.
Yeah.
So I look at my watch, 7 o'clock. I'm like, well, there's no more birds left in this square that I can hunt. So I could walk around here till noon, calling it nothing, or I could just go to work. So hop in the Jeep, cruise down to work. End of story. The next day, I'm like, I'm going to give these birds that I just boogered up a day to settle down. So then I go up, hunt behind my granddad's the next day. And Nick gave me this hot tip. He said when he shot his gobbler, he heard birds gobbling by what we call Carls, straight back, and Brunos. So he's like, if I were you, I would go straight back, see if there's birds gobbling there, and if there's not, then you can go right or left to Carls or Brunos, wherever you hear birds. So I get all set up. There's no birds gobbling straight back. All the birds gobbling were over at Carl's. So I walk over there and, calling every 100 yards or so. Nothing. So then I make a loop back and work my way over towards Bruno's, get to the corner of the field, call, wait around for a few minutes, nothing. And I look at my phone, it's like 7 o'clock. I'm like, time for work. Got to get to work at 8. So I start walking back. I get halfway, 3/4 of the way up the field to my Jeep, and doesn't this bird gobble twice right where I made my last call?
Rascal.
I'm like, you bugger, you. Came in silent.
Well, you didn't take your half day the day before, so you should have just taken it that day.
Yeah, but I didn't tell the boss.
You just call in, tell him you're sick.
Yeah, except for I live with him. So that was a case of, I think the bird came in silent,
Yeah.
got to where the hen was at and gobbled like, hey, where you at?
Mm-hmm.
But I was out of there.
Yeah, you'll have
Kind
that.
of a bummer. So planned on hunting the next day, which was Wednesday, up in Clymer. Yeah, give the birds a day to settle. Woke up, total downpour. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Figure you'll just go to work.
Yeah. So went to work Thursday. I'm like, all right, I'm getting back after those birds up in Clymer. So Thursday morning, I go up there and get all set up right where I set up where if the birds did the same thing on Monday, I would shoot them today.
Mm-hmm.
So get all set up, and it's just getting to that time where you're like, okay, these birds are going to start gobbling. And about 300 yards down the hillside, I hear, boom! I'm like, whoa, that was an early shot.
Yeah.
And I think some guy shot one off the roost.
You
And,
think?
yeah,
That's usually what happens at 5:30.
yeah. And needless to say, the birds were no longer in a talkative mood after
That
that.
sucks. You hate to see that.
Yeah. So I cut my losses that morning.
I've only ever had that happen to me one time. I was pretty young. I was with my dad, and we were up on the hill.
It scares the shit out of you. 'Cause
It
you were,
does,
you were
too.
not ready for that.
And where we were at, there had to have been 3 people. And, it was the same situation. It's right at the time where it's like, okay, they're about to
Birds
start
are,
gobbling.
The Tweety birds and songbirds and stuff have been going for a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, getting to that point.
exactly.
You've heard
And
maybe an owl.
yeah, and we did hear a gobble. Like, we heard the one gobble, and it wasn't far. And Dad was like, hit me. He's like, hey, we're in business. And literally, like, right after he said that, like a minute, just boom, boom, boom. There was like 12 shots. I was like,
Just totally decimated the flock.
yeah, I was like, what's that about? My dad's like, well, I guess we're done here for the day.
Birds weren't gobbling after that?
No, they piped right down.
Yeah. Hate when that happens.
Yeah. You think they'd be ready to let you know where they're at after that?
Yeah, but so that was that hunt on Thursday. Friday, I took the morning off because I'd been hunting hard all week. Was tired. Was all on the road all day for work, and just needed a good night rest. Saturday, I wake up and going up to my granddad's with my dad and Nick. Nick's gonna film.
I want to comment that, or I want to bring us back to what you did Tuesday up at Grandpa's. You know, he went straight back, heard the birds over at Carl's, so he went that way, and then like that's what he did. So we set up, or basically I just want to remind you that we went to Carl's because that's where we heard the birds
Yes.
that day.
Yeah. So earlier in the week, I heard birds at Carl's, so I was like, all right, we'll set up over at Carl's. Get all set up over there, and not a peep on the roost. And it was weird because I talked to a couple, and it felt like a good goblin morning. Mm-hmm. I talked to a few other people that hunted, and they're like, yeah, I didn't hear a single gobble on the roost.
Really?
So it was just one of those days that I don't know if it's the barometric pressure or
Wind direction
what.
or something.
Yeah, but birds were not talking on the roost.
Curious.
So we sit that field edge for, I don't know, till 7 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, let's work over towards where I heard that bird gobble on my way up to the Jeep the other day. So we're walking the woods over there, calling every 100 yards or so.
The crows are ridiculous.
Yeah, so loud. Like, couldn't even think. And we're walking over there, I call, and crows are cawing like crazy. And me and Nick look at each other and we're like, was that a gobble? And
You're like trying to hear it through the cawing.
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know if that was a gobble or not. And meanwhile, my turkey vest is like falling off me. So I'm trying to adjust the top strap, that goes from my shoulders. And I can't figure out, I don't know, it's got like 8 different loops in it. And I could not figure out for the life of me how to get this thing adjusted. So I think it was my dad's old turkey vest, or maybe it was my grandpa's
That
old
was
turkey.
Luke's old turkey.
No, I don't use that one anymore. It's grandpa's old turkey vest. But I'm standing there, I'm like, Dad, do you know how to adjust this thing? And he's monkeying with it for like a minute, and this bird hammers. And I like try and pull away. He's like, oh, let me just get, I'm like, no, like, we need to go now. Like, I don't care about the strap anymore.
Yeah.
So
I think he actually swatted his hand.
I might have. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not worried about it anymore. So, and these birds, they sound like they're in Bruno's field.
So we're like huffing, or we're like,
You're
let's
far
go.
from them.
Well, now we're a couple 100 yards, but I mean, we start moving quick. I mean, like just below a jog coming through the woods.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know, like, we got to move now.
So we pop out in the bottom of my grandpa's field, and the only thing that separates my grandpa's field from Bruno's is a hedgerow. So we're standing right at the trailhead that goes from my grandpa's field into the woods, and this bird hammers, and he's like right there. So I'm like, we need to sit down now. My dad's like, you want to put your decoy out? I'm like, no. Like, those
right
birds
there.
are right there. So we sit down. Like, I'm sitting, I found like a bush to sit against. I wasn't even sitting up against a tree. I kind of tucked myself into this bush.
My dad drops back like 30 yards.
Yeah.
And then I set up with the camera.
And it actually worked out kind of nice because my dad had a slate call, Nick had a mouth call, I had a mouth call. So we were all just, clucking, doing some yelps and stuff. Sounded like
Painting the picture.
Yeah, a flock was over here. And all of a sudden it's like, go, 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 go. Birds hammering.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, man, there's a lot of birds over there, and there's all gobblers.
Yeah. So they break through the hedgerow.
I see Tom's gun up at this point. I'm like, okay. Because, like, unfortunately, we got nothing on film but audio. Or Tom there, just the way we all had to set up on this, I could not film the turkeys. Mm-hmm. But, so go ahead. So I see Tom up.
Yeah, so I see the birds breaking through the hedgerow, so I'm up, I'm situated. I don't have a tree to lean on. I'm like,
And these birds are in range.
supporting
As soon
myself.
as they come through the woods, they're in range.
Oh.
yeah. And first one pops out, Jake. Second one pops out, Jake. Third one pops out, Jake. Fourth one pops out, Jake. Fifth one pops out, Jake.
They think I'm getting the picture here.
Yeah, all 5 of them were Jakes. So these
And I didn't know that they're jakes at this time. I can just see red heads.
And you're like, why the hell
and I
isn't he
see Tom-
shooting?
I see Tom lower his gun. And I'm like, can he not see those birds? Because they're like right in front of him. Like, I'm like wondering if I've got this weird angle that like
Yeah.
I can see him, but he can't. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I think I texted you and said like out in front or something.
Friggin'
Like,
shoot.
I'm like, what is he doing? Because I couldn't see below their heads from where I was. I just seen a
Yeah.
bunch of red heads coming through. I'm like, what is he doing?
So I gave them the pass and let them. They came out into the field and then worked back into the woods, and we let them disappear. We made a little loop. Tried to get another one fired up. No luck. So that brought us to about 8:30, and we went back home, grabbed a quick sandwich, and me and Nick headed out to the farm. Got out there at 10, and it was muggy, thick, and the bugs were out and about.
That's the best for turkey hunting.
Yeah.
That's like how it is when we go up to camp. It's all,
Textbook.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I mean, in that property, a lot of it's swamp muck. So it's just thick,
Lots of bugs.
heavy mud, standing still water, and
That's nice.
yeah, a lot of
mud.
bugs. So we monkey around out there for 2 hours, couldn't get anything fired up. Cut our losses, went back home, took a quick power nap, and me and Nick got up to the cabin nice and early Saturday evening. Got a bonfire going, caught a good buzz,
Attaboy.
had a good old time, and had high aspirations for hunting gobblers.
I
and
think
more.
we should talk about this that sandwich we made, because that's a game changer for somebody that's used to eating Italian sausage sandwiches.
Yeah.
Just a little something extra. So Tom and I, we don't make sausage links anymore with our deer. It's just all bulk.
Yeah.
So we had hot Italian bulk sausage, venison from last year, and we just made burger patties with it.
Yeah.
So you basically make a sausage sandwich, but just in patty
Melt
form.
some provolone cheese on it.
Yeah. So we were at the corner store, which people listening probably don't realize this, but everybody here at the table knows the corner store has everything you need.
Yes.
There,
Nothing more.
And, yeah, nothing more. And when I say everything, I do mean everything. It is this tiny little mom and pop, or actually mom and son store. But every single time we've been at the cabin and said, oh, we just need, I need a few screws, or I need a caulk gun. Like the most random thing, they have it.
Yeah, and they have like packs of like a few screws.
Yeah, like 6 screws.
Yeah, we needed a caulk gun. We went down there. I think they only had
They had
one.
One caulk
Yeah.
gun.
They have always had what we needed.
So Tom and I are in there. We were picking up beer and that sort of thing for camp. And I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what would be really good, or I thought might be good on a hot sausage sandwich, was some pepper jelly. Yeah, it sounds weird, but
You ever had pepper jelly?
Yeah, it's gross.
Oh, I love that shit.
I love
I hate pepper
I
jelly.
put that
hot
on
pepper
everything.
Jelly is amazing.
Like cheese and crackers,
Ugh.
little cube of meat, slab of pepper
So
jelly.
good.
Oh, get out of town.
So anyway,
Slap me silly.
this is just a little convenience store. I start looking around. They freaking
Wouldn't you
have-
know it?
they
I was gonna
had
say
hot-
I didn't think they would have that,
Yeah,
but
well, but they do. They had hot pepper jelly, so I pick up a jar, take it back up there. I tell you what, it takes a hot sausage, like a hot Italian sausage sandwich, to a whole nother level.
you know what I'm thinking of
elevates
right
the
now?
dish.
The episode of SpongeBob when he puts jellyfish jelly on the
burger?
Krabby Patties. That's what I'm thinking
And
of right
didn't
now.
they go crazy?
They did.
Yeah.
They sure did.
So anybody out there that's got some hot Italian sausage, I'm telling you, a little hot pepper jelly, it hits with the spiciness of the sausage, a little bit of sweet heat to it, and I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
I'll try it, but
Oh, you'll like it.
I don't know.
It was really good. All right, continue.
Back
So,
to hunting.
yeah. Had a good dinner, bonfire, few beers, maybe a shot of Fireball. Good old time. Get to bed early, actually. Like, what did we go to bed at? Like 9
9:30.
o'clock, 9:30? Yeah. Wake up, bright-eyed and
We
bushy-tailed.
never even lit a fire, and it was a little chilly in the morning. I tell you, because it got down to like low 40s.
Yeah, but it stayed like 60 in the cabin. But
It was pretty cold.
when you're in a 30 below sleeping bag, all
pretty toasty.
warm, and then you get out into a 55, 60 degree room, it's like, wow,
Good chill.
That's got some bite to it. So, me and Nick,
Just lucky it wasn't picture day.
we had chocolate chip muffin for breakfast, and head out to the woods, get all set up. And it's just getting to that time when you think they're going to start gobbling.
It does not happen again.
No, did not happen.
I was gonna say you're shitting me.
No. They didn't gobble. I'm like, what the F?
Like not a single gobble, no gunshots, nothing, just dead silent.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 days since they were shot.
No, this was since they got shot on the roost on Thursday,
And this
So 2
was-
days.
and this is Sunday.
Sunday.
So they had
3
Friday,
days.
Saturday. So no gobbling on the roost, and it's like about bright enough to where they would normally be flying down. So
It's about 6:15.
yeah, so I'm like, all right, something should be happening. Then all of a sudden I hear yap 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 yap, hen yelping. I'm like, okay, so there's birds around. Wait a few minutes, there's a gobble. I'm like,
Just
okay,
one singular gobble. That's it.
yeah. So I let out a few clucks and some yelps. Anticipation's high, ready for a hammer back. Nothing. So me and Nick sit there. I called, I don't know, every 10, 15 minutes or so for about 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. So I'm like, well, he's probably henned up. So me and Nick, give the nod to each other. And I'm going to go grab the decoy. So I grab the decoy.
I pack up my camera.
Yeah. I pull the stake out of the ground. I'm working on getting it back in the bag, and gobbles again, and he's a lot closer. I'm like,
Like I said, it's been like 40 minutes since he's gobbled, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
How far was he when he gobbled before?
probably
Yeah.
about 250 maybe.
Okay, so he's closed a lot of ground.
And now he's probably like 120.
so he's like about to see you.
Yeah.
yeah, we're like, oof. So
Yeah.
Tom actually did. He was already on the ground still in front of his decoy, so we did set it back up.
Yeah. Set the decoy back up, get back to my seat.
And then I dropped back.
Yeah. Nick dropped back, call, waiting for a hammer back, nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, what the heck? And we're waiting, and it's like another 15 minutes. Not another gobble. And then I see him pop up over this knoll, and he's like 100 yards away. And he's working a little bit closer. He gets to maybe like 80 yards, goes into full strut, and he starts walking back and forth. I'm like, shouldn't he like gobble and
Yeah,
let the hen know, like,
do
hey, I'm over
something.
here? So I'm like,
Could you
"Hey."
see his beard?
No, I could see at a full fan. So
I could see the hen and the gobbler from where I was at. Tom could only see the gobbler.
I just do some,
We had
few
a full strut
clucks.
decoy.
Yeah, do a few clucks, and I don't think he ever saw the decoy.
I don't think so either. The way
The ground rolls.
Frank knows
Yeah.
that hillside has so many cuts through it, and we were kind of like on an up side, so like where we were at from where he was. I don't think he could actually see down
To
to
where the
our
decoy was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he never gobbled. He just went into strut, walked back and forth a few times, and disappeared out of my life.
While we were sitting there, we did see 2 baby fox though. which
Yeah,
was pretty
that
Oh,
was
that's
neat.
neat.
Yeah, and the
There's
mama
a
up on
den
top.
somewhere close.
Yeah. They were carrying something in their mouth. It was pretty cool. I mean, just a little. I mean, this fox was like could have sat in your hand.
Oh yeah,
they're
tiny when they're still in the den.
So yeah, they were carrying something in their mouth, and we
Like
watched
a
them.
mole or
Yeah,
chipmunk or
we
something.
watched them run by, and then like 20 minutes later, they both came back through. But I could see Mom up on the hill watching down, just kind of keeping an eye on them. But at this point, Tom and I decided we need to circle around. So we cut pretty much. He showed me where the birds were at the day he blew them out. Mm-hmm. So we went all the way down there, circled around to the back side of the swamp, and then we crossed.
Well, before that, doesn't really relate to hunting. Me and Nick decided we were gonna give this hen and gobbler a little bit of time to do their thing, so we just kind of camped out on the side of the beaver swamp, and
Oh, yeah.
we sat down on this tree right on the edge of one of the big ponds, and we watched this beaver out there just working for I don't know what half hour or so.
Yeah.
Working on the dam.
Yeah, I filmed them, and I mean, I've
That's
never,
cool.
because beavers are typically like if you come up on the dam, they're gone. Like
Yeah.
they
But we
disappear
were
pretty
wearing
quick.
camo, so they couldn't see us.
Yeah, hex gear.
So they couldn't feel our electronic waves.
Something like that.
Anyway, so yeah, we sat on the edge of the bank and just filmed these beavers. It was really cool.
That is neat.
But yeah, so anyway, it's probably been an hour since our last setup that we were at. So we're like, let's finish circling around. Well, we crossed directly over the beaver dam, and get to the other side, and I think we heard them gobble again. As soon as we got, like, wasn't long after we got
No,
over.
we crossed. I called, nothing. And we walked about 100 yards down, called, and he hammered back. And he was not far. He was inside 200 yards. So I'm like, we need to
Figure
set up
this out.
now.
Yeah.
So we got set up, and I waited for 15 minutes, nothing, not another
I
gobble,
dropped
never
back
saw
like
him.
30 yards behind Tom again.
Called, nothing, never heard or seen from him again. I'm like, what the hell? This guy's driving me up a wall.
By this point, it's almost 11.
Yeah.
Today's about done.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I said, let's take a walk up the hillside because I seen some morel mushrooms or morale mushrooms there last year. I didn't know what they were. I was just like, oh, that's a weird looking mushroom. And then this past year, Nick like got into morale mushrooms and he showed me a picture. I'm like, I've seen those.
I haven't even gotten. I just kind of interested in.
Yeah.
Something else to do in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I've seen one of those. And so I was taking Nick to where I seen these mushrooms. We were going to walk up the hillside where I saw the mushrooms, then pop out into the field, see if any gobblers were out there. Mm-hmm. And
I'm deep into the mushroom hunt at this point.
yeah. And I'm just walking all willy-nilly, like, oh, no mushrooms over there, no mushrooms over there. Mm-hmm. And I get to the top of this hill, and we're kind of like right back behind the cabin where it's like super thick with briars and
Yeah.
what have you and this and that. And I peek up over the top of this hill, and like 10 yards from me, there's this bird staring at me. I'm like,
Oh man.
shit. I got the decoy on my strapped over one shoulder, my gun strapped on the other shoulder. Before I can even think to do
Yeah.
anything, this bird takes off flying off the hill. And as he's flying over my head, I'm looking, and he's got a freaking rope hanging from his. I'm like, son of a bitch! Like, this hunt sucks.
Mind you, I was so
Yeah.
invested in these mushrooms.
Yeah, I look over at Nick, and I'm like, hands up, shaking my head. He's like, what?
Didn't
Like,
even hear the bird
If you
fly.
didn't see or hear that, he's like, what? I'm like, that turkey we just jumped.
Mind you, I was 20 yards from Tom. Had no.
I can't believe you could have been 100 yards and heard it fly.
I had nothing. I
That's
was,
Dude, I've
crazy.
never seen a turkey fly that far.
That's crazy.
you got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a hurry, too. If I had my old 682 Goldie, I probably could have
Would've
smoked him
smoked
out of
him.
the air,
Yep.
but I didn't. So
That's awesome.
that hunt was just one kick in the nuts after the other.
Yeah, definitely.
So I didn't hunt Monday because I was tired from hunting every day the week before. Just wanted a day to sleep in. Tuesday, I was up late watching the Indians game. Still a little burnout. Woke up this morning, Wednesday, podcast day, ready to rip.
Figured
Tear.
you'd go out
Yeah.
and get some content.
The ripping and the tearing. The
So-
ripping and the tearing.
I get to this spot I used to deer hunt quite heavily. The old car wash. It's my uncle's property. And
You know, for somebody that doesn't have any context of this property, people got to wonder why we call it the car wash.
there
And
used to be a car wash across the street. It's not
Which
there
I mean,
anymore.
like, it sounds like
Yeah.
there could be a cool story, but it's literally just no. There used to be a car wash across the street.
Yeah. So I'm at the old car wash, and I get set up, and I'm like, all right, birds should start gobbling. And I can hear some gobbling, but it's like way, way, way.
This is a small piece of
Yeah,
property.
it's 7 acres. So you don't really have much to work with.
No.
You can pretty much hunt the whole thing in one sit. So,
You can pretty much shoot the whole thing in one sit.
yeah.
And
So-
we can't hunt anywhere around it. It's all
Yeah.
Another hunter
Yes.
owns it.
Yeah. We'll call it that. So I hear these birds gobbling on the roost. Sounds like they flew down because their gobbles seem a little quieter and not as high up in the air. And I'm calling, they're hammering back. I'm calling, they're hammering back. They're not getting any closer.
Playing patty cake with him.
Yeah. And
Little Marco Polo.
yeah, I think there was a road in between us.
Little Red Rover. Rover, bring your redhead over.
Precisely.
And
But
they just wouldn't
they
do
would
it.
not do it. I couldn't call them across a road, and there was like 2 ravines in between us, and I had fun though. a good time.
Yeah.
Saw a couple deer.
Nice.
Yeah. On my way home from hunting, I was going to go grab a bite to eat and a quick drink before I went to work at 8. Seen a big old gobbler strutting in this field behind my neighbor's house. I'm trying to get permission to hunt there because I see turkeys there all the time, literally every day.
Sounds like a good spot.
I stopped there after work, tried to get permission. He wasn't home. So
The thing that sucks, like, usually when you see, like, fields like that where there's a house nearby and they're there every day, usually they're getting fed.
Yeah,
and
the
people like to watch them, and they don't let you hunt.
I got a piece that I've been dying to hunt, and you know where it's at too. It's across from that big farm by Kenny's, and those birds just taunt me because like the one day they were like 20 yards off the road in the yard,
Just looking at you.
just full strut. You sons of bitches. 'Cause, I mean, they're big birds because they don't get hunted. I mean, birds probably 5 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, just a tank.
And you can't touch them. There, anyway.
Yeah. Circle around.
Yeah. Hit them back on the other side.
Yeah, it's been slow for us.
Yeah, hopefully I don't work so late in the coming weeks with being able to hunt
open.
the evening. That would be nice.
I did get word. Obviously, we're in Northwest PA. Buddy of mine that has been into mushroom hunting for a few years, knows where to look, kind of thing. He just found 2 over the weekend. So if you're in the Northwest PA region, it's about time to start checking.
Nice.
So
We'll have to get someone that like really knows mushrooms on the podcast.
that buddy that I'm talking about.
No, he really.
Oh
he
yeah,
knows
he's
a lot.
into
Okay.
it.
Sweet.
He's actually Luke's buddy,
Oh
but I won't throw him out there until we talk to him and see if he's interested.
yeah, let's do that.
Well, with any luck, I'm going Friday with him. We're gonna go hiking, try and find some.
Neat.
If we get into them, maybe next week we can do a little
We'll chit chat with him.
morel story. Yeah,
if we don't have a turkey camp series,
Yeah.
we could do both, like a combo deal.
no. Turkey camp deserves its own show.
Yeah, and mushrooms
No, I'm saying
deserve their-
record 2. I'm
Oh.
not saying
Oh.
put them together. You have to kill a bird to do a turkey camp series.
I have a week.
I needed about 45 minutes.
That's what I'm saying, and I have a whole week, so it should be no big deal.
You should be able to get like hundreds of birds in
Yeah.
that amount of time.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I guess we can wrap it up there, gentlemen. Tune in next week for big old bird on the ground.
no doubt.
But
You can count on it.
congratulations to all you turkey hunters out there that have filled your tags.
And congratulations to all the turkey hunters that have been out there having fun.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what really matters is they're all getting outside.